to the wherever you was, son.
Hey yo, it happens on the daily. Was not a fan of daily. And their corruption is a product of consumption. Machine politics, hood joblessness, it's obvious we suffer.
Street art has transformed a little bit in a sense where it's become something where you have a lot of local artists and a lot of graffiti artists that have been working in the area or surrounding areas. But now we have a wave of artists coming from different areas, out of town, throughout the country, some coming in from even outside of the country. So there's a large diverse image and change in styles happening, which is always going to happen with graffiti or with street art.
Tactics and we're the ones they target. Every king wears a crown. And every kingdom comes down.
Rappers with Bible scriptures encrypted in arms, bearing the palms with shooters aiming the rulers that give a fuck about fame, money, and mute a silence to critic. Violence in it, they're firing at the tyrants.
Right now, we get lots of good examples of graffiti writing, things with aerosol, and you get to see names and you get to see words or phrases. And that used to be a little less common with some of the pre-existing murals, where you would see phrases or slogans almost, but it wouldn't be so specific to a crew or one single person. It would be mostly about a movement happening. So the movement still exists, and now it's just changing because there's different artists involved. There's different ways that people perceive the street art. So in particular, maybe one artist that I think has really stood out and has kind of tried to find a way to merge both things, and he's still growing. Jasso has been really working with including a lot of imagery that's specific to popular culture, but in the same time still incorporates a lot of Mexican imagery.
And I grew up with these images, you know, the Zapata images, Frida, Diego Rivera. I fell in love with the whole idea of pop art, so I combined those two things together, which, you know, the Mexican arts and, you know, popular culture. I did the Jedi Zapata, representing what you would say a modern revolutionary, you know, nowadays with the whole immigration and, you know, racism against Latinos, not just Mexicans, and or, you know, other illegal immigrants. So I did the Zapata for that, and then you have the Frida. I wanted to do something, use her image to represent, you know, something beautiful and still something young, and that's why I added the Hello Kitty, and I kept using the image of Frida to kind of, you know, make people from a Latino background feel comfortable, you know, with these images and feel proud about themselves. Some of the kids nowadays don't know, you know, the history or the history of Mexico's arts and their famous artists, and they can't relate to these images. So when they see them, you know, with these popular culture images, kind of investigate and see, you know, ask around, and then they find out what it is, and it becomes more meaningful to them, you know.
And I'm a stranger in a strange land, up late at night watching reruns of Gangland, dreaming of being the kingpin, but in the meantime.
When it came to weed pasting, I kind of used the whole idea of using the black and white image and putting it on a paper and putting it out there, whether it's, you know, freestyled by hand or designed on a computer and then printed. One of my biggest influences, I guess you would say, is Shepard Fairey when it comes to weed-based art, and I fell in love with the whole idea of, you know, doing or making an image on paper or expressing yourself on paper and putting it out there.
Coins I want change, but I always felt lame because I never knew they slang.
He was putting a lot of things together himself. He was trying to see what worked and what didn't, but he wasn't thinking about this is going to be the larger benefit later on. I think he definitely was a very impulsive artist, and that came from his graffiti background, where he was used to going somewhere overnight, painting, putting something on a wall, and then you know, by the next morning, next day, people would get to see it. So he approached his wheat paste, I think, in the same way, where he would just go out, put them up, and think about it later. So, but that was a very, I think that was very a strength for his work, because that a lot of people got to see just how fast he worked.
I never really been visual with my art, so I always really respect and appreciate people that are. And yeah, so there's definitely a connection with from the graffiti culture to what Jasso does and the hip hop and everything. There's definitely in the same realm.
From Clarence Darrow to Blago, the city of Chicago. From Richard J to Richard M, which of them? This shit for M, neither one see the sun. That's how I shine when I rhyme, and I'ma be the one. I stand with Tony.
My art became political once I started noticing things around my friends, what they were going through when it comes to immigration issues and gang violence issues. There was this one memory I have that I'll never forget. In school, I believe it was science or biology, and we got this news about one of my friends that he had gotten shot, you know, coming to school, and shot and killed. And we were barely, you know, 6th graders. And hearing one of our friends dying, you know, getting shot, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of heavy. I guess we as a community in that school, all the students that went to that school, we kind of got away from all the violence and you know, the gunshots and the bad memories through art. And the teachers, they knew that, you know, it was a positive feeling for that school and that community. Recently, it happened again with another friend, and it's the same shit over again. You know, it's gang violence, you know, and it's just people don't learn. I don't understand what the infatuation with killing someone for, you know, a territory, 2 blocks, that you feel the need to defend by killing, you know, people that look like gangbangers, or, you know, it's just dumb shit like that. It just makes no fucking sense to me. Drugs and stuff like that. So I kind of, like, I refuge myself in art, you know?
I want the top spot, I went to top shop. I went and still rocking my product like I'm hot shot. They say I'm not, well why not? I'm on your iPod, all the spots that I rock. I'm like knock, knock, they like who's there? I'm like what we gonna do about Pilsen's air? It's just a day in the life, and they charging up the ass, so we pay in the price. Chicago and the taxes is light behind these glasses, trying to get the masses to get up off their asses. On my block there's a church and a liquor store. I wonder which one can visit more. Last night I was waking by some sirens, say the end is near, and